Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into the microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Invisible War Blind. Now, if I remember correctly, I was just about to leave Cairo for Trier to search for Tracer Tongue, but before I do, let me just quickly review my objectives to make sure I didn't miss anything, at least that I didn't miss anything on accident, because I know there's at least one objective I just simply don't want to do. Okay, so find Tracer Tongue in Trier, that's where I'm going. Hire a pilot, that's sort of, you know, linked with the other one. Yeah, the Nassif greenhouse, I don't really want to destroy it because I've searched through it and I didn't find anything that would give me a good enough reason to actually destroy it, because the only thing the WTO have told me is that it's not you know, it's not built in accordance with their laws, which isn't really a good enough reason for me to do anything, because to be honest, half of the things I've done in this game are not in accordance with WTO laws, so I don't particularly care for them, apart from, you know, the most universal ones, you know, that exist in every society against murder and whatnot. So I don't really know what their beef is. I suppose it's probably about money, like maybe they don't have the proper licenses or that they don't pay the proper taxes or something. So I'm simply not going to do that. Meet Ava, yeah. Yeah, I'm going with Ava this time because, or is it Ava? Not sure. Because I simply don't have the money to pay Sid, because my way of playing involves relatively small amount of stealing. I try to refrain from that if I can. So I'm just short of the 500 credits that it would cost to fly with Sid, and apparently Ava has managed to free herself from the WTO's custody back in Seattle without my help, so I might as well take advantage of that. Maybe I'll learn something about the character in the process as well, because I never really learned why she was imprisoned, apart from, you know, violating the WTO's like traffic laws, aviation laws, but it didn't go into specifics, so I'm not sure what she's up to. Yeah, but I think that's actually all. So, is there anything? Oops, sorry. It's fortunate that I didn't kill anyone with those barrels. I'm just checking if there's maybe something on the helipad. Oh, look at that. There's a free multi-tool. Don't mind if I do. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. Now for a second I thought this was actually something, but it's just the edge of the outline of the barrel. Well, let's talk to her.
I have failed to locate my passenger. Where do you want to go?
So apparently she's looking for someone, which is really weird, because if she is looking for someone in particular, why does she let me decide where I want to go? Wouldn't she just say, I'm going to Trier, and if you want, you can go with me? Why is she even asking my opinion? That is kind of weird. But I am going to Trier, so let's do that.
Take me to Trier, Germany.
What's in Trier?
I'm looking for somebody. That's all you need to know.
Hey, I've been to Trier many times.
It wouldn't be wise for me to discuss it. Let's go.
As you wish. How fortunate that we found each other. We both lost someone, but now, with each other's help, maybe our luck will change.
Okay, so I'm actually a little surprised, because I would think I'd land in some kind of air terminal, and instead it seems she like dropped me off onto the streets, which doesn't really seem plausible, unless she somehow landed like on the top of this building and it's implied that I came out of it. But in any case, let's look around and talk to people.
I heard that some of the striking workers broke into a meeting and kidnapped Her Holiness. Can you believe it?
Okay, that actually seems like a very significant piece of information there. Obviously, Trier was supposed to be the site of the meeting between the WTO and the Order, so both of the heads of the organizations are here, which in fact makes it a prime target for some kind of a terrorist attack. So I'm sure the Templars will probably show up.
I am not a seeker, but I hope she does not get hurt. Who knows what would happen then? Meanwhile, all hell has broken loose at the Panzerwerks factory. I know the Order came here to have a peaceful summit, but they had to know that a riot was possible. They cannot get the factory under control. The workers have seized the facility.
So apparently there are also some riots.
Tension has been high for months. It just finally exploded. I do not think SSC is really qualified to deal with a situation like this.
Let's listen to the local news.
Good luck with your search. Whenever I'm looking for someone in Trier, I start at the Nine Worlds Tavern on the west side of the city. Your odyssey is beginning to intrigue me, Alex.
No street traffic. So I guess this is meant to explain, because I assume this refers to cars only. Obviously there are people around, and it says 24-hour restriction, so I guess it's a way of explaining why there are no cars in the game, which I guess is a decent thing that they at least tried to address this problem, because it's actually quite prevalent, especially in the what's the right, I don't think I said it right, but you know what I mean. Prevalent? I'm not sure if I am saying that word right, but quite common in older games, especially when, despite the fact that they are set in modern times or even in futuristic times, the amount of traffic is really slow or basically non-existent, and it can take away from the immersion. So I guess they at least tried to somehow address it. Although I don't particularly care, and it doesn't really detract from my enjoyment of the game. Let's check the local news.
Live from Cairo, where the headmaster of a Tarsus Academy has been taken into SSC custody. Parents are in an uproar over the discovery that Silas Archer was actually a member of the fanatic anti-biomodification group, the Knights Templar. He has been working undercover at the school with designs on a number of the top students. Apparently, he had orders to murder these children. Fortunately, his plan was uncovered in time.
Anything else?
Hi, I'm NG Resonance. One thing I can't stand is imitation. That's why I'm so uncompromising with my music, and that's why I drink Queequegs. A tall, foamy Queequegino makes me feel good because I know it was made from real coffee beans grown the old way, organically, by independent farmers. Pretty cool, huh? Not to mention the edge it gives me before a big show. I don't know what I'd do without my Queequegs.
Queequegs, coffee for a new generation.
I guess that's the endorsement we've managed to secure for the Queequeg's manager in Cairo. Again, the map has been crafted by an Order member. I still don't really get it. Like, is the Order a bunch of cartographers? Do they have monopoly on that or something? You'd think the WTO would manage that because one, trade is even in their name, so you'd think they would be for every kind of potential new way of profiting. But two, most of the cities, at least the city centers, seem to be run by WTO as the so-called enclaves, so I'm not quite sure what's the significance of all the maps being provided by the Order. But sure, I'll take it.
Hey, watch where you're going.
Those hands are also kind of disconcerting to me because they bring back the memories of MJ12's logo, which was actually, I think, a single hand, sort of hovering over the globe. It wasn't really that similar, but it had a similar feeling of, you know, a hand clutching the world, sort of controlling it. So, does it say what this monument is for? Don't think so.
Standing watch all day, not my idea of fun.
SSC HQ.
This is SSC Headquarters for Trier. Originally, we planned for holding the summit here, the most secure location. So much for that plan. Things are pretty hectic in the HQ offices now.
Oh, so did something happen in there as well?
The SSC Executive Commander and Chairman Dumier are here. I never thought I'd meet both of them. Think I'll stay outside rather than catch any more heat for today's fiasco.
Yeah, apparently something... Well, obviously, that guy mentioned riots and possibly someone kidnapping Her Holiness, the head of the Order, but I didn't think it was related to the SSC Headquarters in particular.
Things are pretty hectic in the HQ offices now.
I'm just trying to orientate myself before choosing any venues to go into. Close to visitors. Blackgate Ruins. What's a Blackgate though?
Sorry, no access to the Black Gate without the proper clearance.
Is something going on?
Nah, it's just another part of the citywide lockdown, along with the curfews, to try to regain control after the riots broke out at Panzerworks.
How can I get the clearance to other parts of Trier?
Wish I could help. If you have a problem with the new policies, talk to someone at the SSC station across the square. No one's allowed past this point without the proper soft key ID.
Headquarters made it clear. No exceptions. I'm just doing my job here. Talk to someone at HQ.
Well, I'm just, you know, familiarizing myself with the environment before I go into any one of those more secluded locations.
Trier's just been a circus lately. I thought when I got this assignment it would be a quiet one.
Okay, so I guess this is the helipad? Although if I landed here, I'm not sure why I was spawned in that other location instead of is there anything? Oh, there's something on the roof there. Ammo? Why would there be ammo on the roof? That's supposed to indicate that, I don't know, somebody was camping here? Some kind of surveillance or a sniper? Not quite sure. Yeah, but I'm also not sure why I wasn't spawned here, you know, to indicate, or even up there, to indicate me landing over here. Actually, this area is quite expansive, so I'd check out the streets first before going inside any of the buildings. An ATM, not going to hack it. I haven't Queequeg. Oh! Maybe I can...
After all the equipment they wrecked and stole in the name of preserving the natural order, I do not understand why the WTO would agree to a summit with these freaks.
The order is not so aggressive in other cities. This Saman just went extreme on them.
That is why we had to do something. The summit is useless. We need to chase them out of Trier entirely.
I hope it doesn't come to that, but yes, I am tired of paying for their crimes. Every time they mess with the plant, it comes out of my paycheck.
Interesting.
300 pansies.
Those order freaks should just shut up and get real jobs.
So apparently the branch of the order here in Trier is more extreme than the others.
They never should have messed with us.
I have heard rumors Her Holiness has special powers. That has to be a myth.
Well, I guess I'm going to learn about that at some point.
There were stories about sacrifices. I do not believe those, but Seekers are definitely strange.
Sabotaging a botched production plant? What was I thinking?
I have heard rumors Her Holiness has special...
So much for their summit. So much for their summit.
Okay, I'll go into Queequeg here, unless, yeah, it does require a separate loading screen. So I'll save that, because I want to check if maybe I can do another mission for them, or maybe they heard about what I did in Cairo, and offer me some kind of a reward or something.
Instead, we're trying to protect world leaders, and failing.
Okay. Okay, this is the tavern that Ava mentioned.
Finally reached their breaking point. It was bound to happen. They could only take so much needling from the Order. I don't know how they're going to settle this situation at Panzerworks. I hope no one gets hurt.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get
There was
involved.
a strike. The workers demanded improved security, but it quickly turned into a riot. A mob from Panzerworks spread into the city and went after anyone wearing an Order robe.
Ah, that is also an Order seeker, right?
SSC got most of the Panzerworks rioters under control pretty quickly, breaking up fights and throwing a few people in jail. That's why we're under lockdown and curfew now, trying to stamp out the last bits of the Panzerworks riot. There are rumors about the Order, that they are growing more extreme, like a cult.
Yeah, it does seem so. At least from the few bits of talking we've had here, but they also mentioned that it's only like this in Trier, so I guess it's kind of dependent on the local leader, you know, and his own
Holiness comes
twist
to Trier to
on the
make
policy.
peace, and her gesture is answered with rioting.
Panzerworks did not take kindly to our efforts to open their eyes to the harm they are causing the Earth.
What can we do? I worry for the safety of Her Holiness.
Have faith. This must be part of some greater order we cannot yet see.
They cannot yet see it because they are wearing hoods over their eyes, which still strikes me as a sort of interesting design choice, because I wonder if it's actually, you know, having some kind of a deeper meaning. I was already talking about that, how it seems strange to me that they are talking of enlightenment and of learning, you know, this new truth, but in the end they themselves can't really see the world around them because they have their eyes covered. So it's this sort of inner contradiction, which I find interesting.
Not now, friend. We are discussing the crisis. The Panzerworks factory has erupted into a riot and the violence is spreading.
What's the situation right now?
The city's under martial law, but the attacks on Seekers continue.
The WTO and Order have long been at odds. Why the sudden flare-up in Trier?
We've been trying to persuade Panzerworks to stop polluting this region and restore to nature what is rightfully hers.
But don't the locals depend on the factory for jobs?
We can have jobs and sustainability at the same time. We tried to make this point in our peaceful protests according to Luminon Saman's orders.
Didn't these protests end up shutting down the factory several times?
Some machines were damaged, but no living beings were harmed.
Still, vandalism's a crime, right?
Only if preceded by an impure motivation. However, since Saman's tactics were not working, Her Holiness came to Trier to try and reach some form of truce. Now we have no idea where she is.
Really? Maybe I should look into this.
Yeah, I probably
we were
should.
only following Luminon Saman's directives. We had no idea it would come to this.
Meanwhile, we have been accused of theft, which is ridiculous.
Well, did you steal anything? From what I've heard, you've at least damaged some property, which, as Alex rightfully pointed out, is a crime. And also, I can totally understand why, you know, an ordinary worker wouldn't particularly care for those kind of lofty ideals and all those talks of environmentalism when he's probably working a minimum wage in this factory, and he's happy to have even that because otherwise he'd starve to death. And here you are, you know, disrupting his work and telling him that he's doing something evil, by working in that factory, and you deprive him of the means of existence. So I can totally get why the people aren't like very susceptible to what the order.
I am lucky to have seen the light. It is true. We have damaged Panzerworks equipment, but we have never hurt any living being nor stolen from them.
Well, that is like not technically, like that may be technically true, but I would argue they totally harmed the workers of the factory by depriving them of their pay, and
Please
it's really
stop looking at me like that.
Okay, I'm kind of annoyed by this mechanic that lets the NPCs get annoyed if you look at them too long. On one hand it's kind of immersive, but on the other it's really not that comfortable, especially when I want to elaborate on something. But as I said, I totally can see why like the ordinary person isn't really that well disposed towards the order, because mainly they just seem, you know, disruptive. If you have you know, if you are poor and if you have not many possibilities in life, you probably don't really care so much about idealism and politics and all that. You just care about getting by, and the order is sort of short-sighted in that, in their approach, I think, because the only thing they are going to accomplish by acting like that, you know, blocking factories, destroying equipment, is going to turn the common people against them, because in the end a factory worker is probably not going to care about, you know, your political message. He's going to care about his paycheck getting slashed because you've destroyed his equipment. So I think it's counterproductive towards the order's goals to actually behave the way they do. But
we are working to protect the Earth. We have no interest in materials or money.
Yeah, but again, other people do. Like, actually, now that makes me wonder, how do the order grant sort of, you know, everyday members, ordinary members, how do they sustain themselves? Do they get paid? I don't think so. So are they having their you know, food and accommodations provided by the order? If they do, then again it's sort of it displays this sort of short-sightedness and almost like hypocrisy on the part of the order, because if they themselves have their needs provided by the order's higher-ups, then obviously that would kind of make them blind to the plight of everyday men, you know, of those low-wage factory workers. They could say, oh, I'm not, you know, beholden to money, I'm not a slave to capitalism or whatever, but like, it's easy to say that if you have your needs provided for by a religious group, but most ordinary people are not as lucky.
They would only open their eyes.
What could we possibly want to take from that abominable factory? We detest what their industry does to the land.
We never hurt anyone, just the machines.
I hope Her Holiness is safe.
It's Panzerworks that started the rioting.
We were only following Luminon Saman's directives.
Okay, they are starting to
Some of
repeat
those
themselves.
stories about the Order have got to be propaganda. I don't believe that they have really resorted to dark, murderous rituals. I don't believe that they have really resorted to dark, murderous rituals.
Okay. Okay, so this is some kind of a shop front, but I'm not going to steal anything from there. It really isn't my style. Nor would I particularly need any kind of weapon. Oh, sorry, cat. Okay, I'll save, because that looks like a potential gathering of, you know, thugs or something.
You should never have jammed those actuators at Panzerworks and stolen that shipment of welders. Now you will pay.
I keep telling you, we stole nothing.
How stupid do you think we are? Every day we hear the Order accuse Panzerworks of poisoning the river.
We never stole from you. We only employed the necessary tactics to stop you from harming the natural order.
Enough of this garbage. We know what you did, and now you are going to regret it. Enough of this noise! Here we go! Lucky shot!
Yeah, that's what I worried is going to happen.
Oh my god, a body! Hey!
But fortunately, I think I managed to save him. Yeah, I didn't kill them, so. But I hoped he would somehow elaborate on what happened if I saved him. But
is not responsible for those thefts. Thank you for seeing the truth.
This has got to stop.
Well, actually, I don't particularly care. Like, even if I knew that they did steal from the factory, I would probably still save the guy. Because it would very much look to me like they tried to lynch him.
I'm lucky you came along when you did.
And they used.
It's too bad it had to end that way.
They used sharp ammunition, so it seemed to me like they tried to actually kill him, which obviously seems to be a little bit excessive. Is there anything here? Some kind of a sewer entrance. But you can't really open this, so I guess it's only for decoration purposes. Or maybe it actually denotes some kind of a drop space or a hidden cache for the order, because I just noticed there is an order symbol there, so I wonder if it will become relevant later on. I should probably keep that in mind. Okay, so I think I've actually...
we planned for holding the summit here, the most secure location. Much for that plan.
I think I've actually checked everything in this area. Let's take a look at the map. Yeah, I'm here. This was the weapon shop, Queequeg. Okay, so let's just... Oh wait, there was also, I think, this area here, which I haven't... Oh no, it's just back to Queequeg. So I think right now I can start sort of methodically, methodically exploring the area by going into each of the buildings. So let's start with the SSC HQ.
If anybody screwed up today, it was us. Security. It's pretty exciting being a part of history. Maybe that had some of us distracted earlier. I just hope we can find a way to salvage this summit and get the two sides talking again. Nobody ever listens to me, but I think the WTO and Order should team up. You know, one side handles business, the other side self-help. There's nothing in the WTO charter against religion. No reason you can't believe in Her Holiness and still hold down a decent job.
that came out somehow really condescending, but I guess it sort of ties into one of my earlier conundrums. You know, how do the Order members, what's the word, sustain themselves? That strikes me as like really interesting.
Whatever lights your fire.
The commander can answer your questions.
Okay, so I guess this is the commander.
No distractions, please. Please, I'm SSC. We're responsible for security during the summit.
Join the SSC. There's some Actually, it's strange that it's a book. You'd think it would be more like a leaflet, but I guess it's just a you know, a limited pool of assets, and they didn't want to create one just for sort of advertisement stuff. But I don't really think a full book would have been written about advertising working for a particular company. That would be kind of strange. Well, let's talk to the commander.
Name and business, please.
Alex D. Who are you?
Vera Maxwell, Executive Commander for the SSC.
For Trier?
No, globally. We're taking these summit preparations very seriously. You and the other delegates will be able to conduct your business without any distractions.
Are the leaders planning to hold a press conference or anything?
Not today, but Chairman Dumier would like to speak with you. He's in the interrogation room upstairs. Don't worry, no one's going to get interrogated. Just a safety precaution. Mr. Dumier will remain in the protected compartment for his own safety. It's true that SSC's performance so far has been less than adequate. This kidnapping has had a grave effect on Chairman Dumier. It's a powerful thing seeing a great leader stand there speechless. He was utterly shaken by the news. I had some of my best people guarding Her Holiness. I don't know what could have happened. An investigation is underway, but it's been difficult. None of my people made it back alive. We lost WTO Security Chief Donna Morgan today, too. This will probably cost me my job, but I'm going to do my best to get Her Holiness back. If you'll excuse me now, I have work to do.
Okay, so that's her office. Let's just take a look around. Oh, I guess that's not going to be easy because she's standing right here. But there's a... I thought there was a data cube here, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's just the energy cell. Well, let's check the books she has, because she sure has a lot of them. Join the SSC. Catalog from the Panzerworks factory. A bulldog bot equipped with a shotgun. No, that's a strange dog. I think I know which one this is. This is like a quadrupedal one with a huge gun on its back. Well, that isn't really particularly enthralling information. Okay, it's actually a continuation of the catalog. It's actually a little nonsensical that they felt the need to split that kind of information into two separate books. You'd think a book of that thickness would be more than enough to describe all of the bots in one place, and then you could just scroll through two separate pages. And that's like the third one. Oh wait, no, it's actually the exact same one as this one, which is even lazier.
Please carry on with your business.
Well, I'm just, checking what you're into as far as books are concerned. Join the SSC. 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 And join the SSC. Well, I must say, you have quite a collection of books here. You must be, they must keep you well entertained. why do I have this feeling that I'm going to be required to break into the evidence room at some point for one quest or another? But let's not do it now. I guess the placement of those items here is some kind of a commentary against about the construction of those stairs, because it really doesn't seem like the best idea to have so huge, such huge gaps between the steps. And like, I could very well imagine somebody losing their money or their equipment by falling through those gaps, and then just don't caring enough to go and pick them up. So I always like those small environmental stories you can tell by simply placing the items or the decoration or bodies into proper places. Like this section here reminds me of a location in Fallout 3 where near the end of the game, in the enclave base of Raven Rock, you actually had this kind of like a dining hall, and it had this grate on the floor, and it also had holes in it. And then when you went under it, there were like a lot of utensils, forks and knives under there, which was kind of funny, and also told this small story about people losing their their utensils during a meal and them falling through the floor. Holding cells. Anyone in custody? Apparently this guy isn't particularly talkative, because I'm literally clicking at him.
Don't mess up the uniform, it's the only one I got.
And he's not responding. Well, let's talk with the prisoner, if I can.
I just wanted to give those older freaks what they deserve.
Ah, so I guess you might have killed somebody?
Factory and I'm the one who gets locked up. I was just trying to make it safe to work at Panzerwerks again. The Order are nothing but thieves and terrorists. SSC can put me in jail, but we are the majority. If the authorities won't solve this problem, the people of Trier will. They wreck our factory and I'm the one who gets locked up.
Okay. Interrogation, visitation. Anyone here? Nope. I'm just checking every place before I go and talk with Dumier.
Trier is your home. Surely you must have some insight into why they would kidnap your lady, Her Holiness. She is practically a patron saint in this district.
Indeed. The people here are very devout.
Was it the strikers, the Panzerwerks Union? I thought they were friends of the church.
I'm afraid that in Trier, even the most faithful are less than pleased by the appearance of their spiritual leader partnering with the WTO.
Your followers must understand the need for dialogue.
I've done my best to explain this summit to them. Frankly, it seems unlikely even to me that the church followers will ever countenance the closed, monolithic communities of the WTO, but I suppose that's a matter for the wise discretion of Her Holiness.
Yes, it is, if she is still alive.
Let's pray that she is.
I appreciate your candor, Luminon. Now, if you'll excuse me. Alex, let's talk. Meet me at the visitation room down the hall.
Okay, but first I'd like to actually talk with what's his name? Saman? Because he's obviously also an important character.
I heard about you guys. Some sort of special ops unit, I guess.
Until further notice, Mr. Dumier will conduct business only from behind a secure barrier.
Guess you're probably here to deal with the hostage situation.
Fair warning, we're all a little on edge. The SSC station is under high alert.
I don't know why they haven't sent in one of our own security teams.
They caught us with our guard down. It won't happen again.
I saw another special ops type, but she's assigned to Lumen Saman. I'd like to know what that's all about.
Ah, I guess that's... what's her name? Billy Adams? The one from Tarsus that later joined the Honor.
I heard about you guys. Some sort of special ops unit, I guess.
Oh, apparently I can't enter. So maybe we can talk through the glass? Doesn't look like it. Well, let's go and talk to Dumier then.
Hello there. Alex, from the Tarsus program, right? Good work on the interrogation of Dr. Nassif in Cairo. Teleportation, is it? Apostle Corps must have a line on some alien technology.
It does sound a little far-fetched.
Well, if we're lucky, you'll be giving the portal a test drive before too long. Good to have you with us. I had my staff procure this extra biomod canister so that you might be a more effective operative.
Thanks. Apostle Corps must be a pretty serious threat to be a concern to the director of the WTO.
I've been following the Apostle Corps investigation very closely. Your loyalty in this matter would be a great asset. However, we have a more pressing crisis. Her Holiness is missing, along with my security chief, Donna Morgan. I can't be distracted right now.
Anything I can do to help?
You came to Trier looking for a certain Apostle Corps official. I need you to stay focused on that objective for right now. If I find out that one of these strikers from Panzerworks hurt Her Holiness, though, I might have a slightly more dangerous assignment for you.
I understand.
If anything happens to Her Holiness, I don't want to imagine what will become of the older Church. Whatever its shortcomings, the Church has at least brought stability to a large part of the world. I was the one who convinced her it was time for a summit. Ultimately, I'm to blame. They better not hurt that woman, mark my words. I was the one who convinced her it was time for a summit. Ultimately, I'm to blame.
Okay, I think I'm actually done here at the SSC Headquarters.
It's true that SSC's performance so far has been less than adequate.
But before I leave, first, let me upgrade my biomod. And it seems... Wait a second. Yeah, so I've actually maxed out every single biomod by this point, which is really disappointing for me, because it means that from now on there's actually no way for me to upgrade my character, and I don't really think I'm at the end of the game. I'm feeling more like I'm past half the game or something. So I'm assuming there's still a lot to do, but I'm basically fully developed, and it doesn't really strike me as the best design decision to program your game with, to allow you to amass so much power so quickly, because it really diminishes the enjoyment you get from solving new quests when you know that you cannot really upgrade your character any further. And I'm overall disappointed with the biomod system. I think it should be a little more extensive, maybe not in the number of biomods, but maybe more levels. But I'm especially disappointed with the lack of skills, because in Deus Ex 1 you actually had a lot of things to choose from, and it was virtually impossible to actually max out all your skills. You had to specialize in different things, and it made it seem more important, and it also made it more rewarding to complete objectives, because right up to the end of the game you could actually, improve in something. You could be a little better, and it made it so that it was more enjoyable to finish tasks, because you felt that you were really being rewarded and you were working towards something. But in this case, like at this point, I find it difficult to care unless like the story of the quest is really intriguing, but the knowledge that I literally cannot improve my character any further is really disheartening and sort of disappointing. So that's definitely a low point of the design of this game, and I hope the next Deus Ex games are going to be more extensive when it comes to character development. But before I leave this building and also end the episode, there is something I would like to briefly touch upon. I find it kind of interesting that Dumier ended up as a leader of the WTO, because it's almost kind of like ironic. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but in the first game, Dumier was actually a leader of an underground resistance movement, so he was very much opposed to the ruling authority, and he was literally hiding underground in Paris catacombs with the rest of the silhouettes. And in this game, he's basically one of the kings of the world, as it were. So it's an interesting subversion, and I'm not yet sure, because I haven't learned so much about the WTO. They don't seem particularly tyrannical, but if they ended up being so, it wouldn't really surprise me, because it would be, as I said, it would fit some kind of commentary about the revolution sort of devouring its own its own children, as it were. But I just wanted to take a moment to notice that, and I'm curious to learn more about the sort of inner workings of the WTO and their conflict with the Order, which I guess is probably going to be explained and developed in this part of the game, which seems to concentrate on this rivalry and this summit that they planned. So I'm sure I'm going to learn more about that. But for now, let me save, and I'll actually, you know what? I'll come out to save me the loading screen. Okay, I think the next location I want to check out is the Queequeg shop.
Jerking me around.
But I'll actually do it in the next episode, so for this I'll save, and see you in the next one. Bye!